Right, guys. So let's have a uh, very short lecture today. We already mostly finished the assignment 2, but I still want to ending a little bit to improve our assignment 2 a little bit. Right, still about the Angular. Let me share the screen here. Right, should be a very easy stuff. So we've talked about like most a basic stuff of the Angular, about the components, about routing and data storage. So what I want to do today is to improve it. Basically, what I want to add more type checking in our application. I want to make sure every time when passing a parameter, I want to check the type of it. This is what we're gonna do today. So let's first do an ng-solve here. Right, it should take a few time. So we're gonna start from the user part as well. We'll start from login part. Right, so in login part, here is our login.component.ts. It contains a login component class. Inside here, the variables, username, password, error flag. We already checked the type of them. They are string and booleans. And then after that, in the constructor, we also have the user service, routing. There's also check the type. Right? These are the parameters we create functions. And there's few things we didn't check in the type, especially like the user. Well, in the login function, we firstly here we construct a new user here, which is using the user's input. The input is the username and password for us, and we are creating a user object based on the username and password. But we never checked out what type of this user object is. And because if we want to say a column user, it's going to tell us. Oh, sorry, it's going to tell us cannot find this any class or any name with the user. So our job today is to create the type checking for such variables, allow us to checking that is a user type. All right. So to do so, we're gonna have a new class in our app folder here. We're gonna create a new folder. We'll call it models. Right. We already have a components, services, and now we're creating a new one called models. Right. Inside here, we are going to have new files. The name of them going to be user.models, then the model.client.ts. Right? It's just still following some name convention to help us to understand what we did in this file. Right? So in this one, we are going to hold on one second. We are going to create a new class for the user. Explore the class. Actually, it should be let's see, export class and name, right? Equals class user. And in this class, we're gonna define what a user object should look like. For example, we can have a user going to have ID, which is a string, right? And it has a username, which is a string. It has a first name, which is a string. It has last name, which is another string, and it has the email, which is a string. This is a user object. This is a user object should have. A user will have have a ID, have a username, a first name, last name, and email. Those things together becomes a user. So in the login component, yes, all I need to do is import that class I just exported. So then I can use that type. I can use that object to as a user type to check it, right? So in here, we're going to import user from the data slash. Go to the outside folder. Outside again. Here we'll have the model folder. Inside here, we're going to use the user folder here. Right? We'll import the user type from the models. And the benefit is we're getting error, error in source file found. It cannot find the user model content. What? Did I have something wrong here? Export class user, and it gives me an error. Source app models user the model context. It's not a model. Oh, maybe I need to adding that to the app module TS. Let me double check it. I don't think so. Let me try to stop this one and redo the ngserve. That should work. It is not a module. Did they update it?
Those clients, those model? No?
Client the model? What?
The name of the class.
The name of class is just a user. Did they update it in Angular 7? Let me check it. I don't see anything wrong with it. Maybe I forgot to save the file. Oh yeah, it just I forget to save the file. Yeah, it's compiled successfully this time. Alright, so we just import the user type, and which going to check in is this user or user type after we run this user file username by credential. Right? Same thing here. Like we're checking if user, we can also check if the user is a user type. Right? Can I do that? Maybe I cannot, right? It has to be a subscribe, right? Let's not checking that here because I already checked it here, so it doesn't matter if I check it again or not. So that's it for the user, and let's go to the register part. Right. So let's see, contain user, and let's import the user here. Maybe I can just directly adding it to here, and so it's gonna help me to import it. Hit enter, Yeah, it's imported for me. It's come from the VS Code. And here I'm checking this user is a user type. Every time when I'm trying to create a variable, I'm checking that, right? Here, it's a new user has a username. No, this is not a user type because it's a user doesn't have such a verified password. Actually, why do I have a verified password here? Yeah, we shouldn't have this one here, right? The user shouldn't have a verified password. So this is what's making things harder without a type checking. I'm doing something wrong before, so you may want to check and change that. So right now, I'm trying to create a user, but they're telling me this is wrong because the user should not only have the username and password, they should also have have the first name, last name, email, and the ID. Those are required for a user, right? So that means we need to add in first name, which can be empty right now. Last name, this is a function for register. Whenever register a new account, they don't have a first name and last name yet, but we still want to keep them like maybe empty. So that means the user that will help us to construct a user object. All right, and email is empty. So a user should have a password here. Yeah, we're gonna have a password here, right? User will have a password, and it's still not a user. It's because we don't have ID here. But in this case, I don't really want to give it a ID because I'm gonna generate the ID later in the data service. So we want to make that ID optional. We don't want it like make the ID is required for user object. Like maybe sometimes I want to create a user without ID because then we can generate the ID in the future. So in my model class, I'm going to add in a question mark here, telling the Angular this ID is optional, right? It's not required. Okay, sometimes you don't give the ID, it's fine. We're gonna still think this is a user type, right? So here this one gonna work, and we'll have a compile successfully here. And same thing here, this is going to be a user type. Every time when we're trying to create a variable, we're going to make sure we're checking the type, make sure that type of it is a user. If that's not, we're going to get an error. So this helps us to prevent us from some stupid error like the one I just did. I have the verified password as a property of a user. That shouldn't be correct. The user shouldn't have a verified password in their field. It's starting to make sense. All right, that's for the register, and let's keep checking. So next file, I want to check the profile page. The profile page also will have a lot of like variables here. A user here, we're gonna be a user type. So we're gonna import a user and put that here. Users. Why do I have users here? Where did I use it? Oh, that's a list of user. So this one is going to be a user array, right? We can check in at the array of user instead of array of anything. And let's keep seeing, is there any variables I created here? Is a user. We're gonna have checking that is a user type. It's a good habit. It's always checking the type. It guarantee us from some easy making errors. So that's it for the user files, and let's just commit my changes. So it's gonna be git add dot git commit user type checking. Right, and you better to run your application. Make sure that everything is still working. So let's have localhost 4200. Make sure everything is still working. Right, it's still working. Let's register. Oops. Oh yeah, it's still working. Register 123 321 321. Register. Yeah, it works. And I should be able to log in with that username I just created. Yeah, it works. And right now, we are going to start doing the type checking for the website. I'm going to do it one by one to make sure I have the type checking for everything. So we start from creating the object type for the models for the website. Yeah, so it's going to be website.model.client.ts. It's a one for the website. So again, we're going to have export class website. Website should have a name, or it should have ID. Yeah, let's put ID, make it optional, which is going to be a string. We have the name string, developer ID, it's going to be a string, and we have the description. Right, we should be able to check in what we need in our website client, website service client TS here. So it should have ID, have a name, have developer ID, have a description. All these four attributes, all these four property construct a website object, right? So in the website pages, we're gonna check in is a variable is a website or not a website. So let's go to the component, go to the website list. We're gonna check in one by one. Start from list. This is a file, right? So websites, instead of array of anything, I'm gonna say this is a website array, right? Array of website. Actually, I want to capitalize this W here. So I'm gonna capitalize this. I'm gonna capitalize it. Right, just keep them in the same casting. Every time when you create a class name, you will want it to be capitalized. Alright, just some naming rule. Let's keep going. I think that's it for this page. Yeah, that's the only thing we need. And let's go to the website new. In here, in websites, yeah, it's going to be the array of websites. Here is a website. It's the type of that. It should be a website. Say that's it. Yeah. Every time we create a variable, you want to check it. Every time if your function takes some parameter, you want to check it. Right. This time that's it. And for the website edit, again, this is going in the website list, and this is going to be object of website. Right, just adding some type checking here. Here, this is a variable I found. This one should be a website. Yep, that's everything for the website pages. And after you change everything, the compile should be still successfully, and you should still be able to do everything like you. And this still should be able to see the list of any's. Should be able to add new ones or add to the old ones. Like go one, it still work, and I should be able to delete that. Everything should still working. All right, it shouldn't influence anything if your code was correct. All right, so let's also commit this change. Git add dot git commit a website type checking, and let's keep going to do it for the pages. And again, we're gonna add a new file, page.model.client.ts. We're gonna have a export class page. We're gonna have a ID as well, string, has a name, string, has a title, string, and it should have a website ID. Right. If you're not sure what you need to have, you just go to the service and check in the properties you have here for objects. Website ID, title, name, and ID. All right, the order doesn't matter here. You can put them in any order. Let's go to the page component to check in the types. Right, this is the page list. Is pages. It's going to be a list of page. I'm gonna import it, and that's it for this page. Page new. We're gonna have WID, UID, name, title here. Actually, in the function create page, yeah, this is what I expect. We're gonna create a new page type, so we're gonna check in this one is a page object. And page edit. So here we have a page, so it's going to be a page object. checking the type, and that's it. There's nothing else. We didn't create any other variables here, so that should be fine. Alright, so that's it for the pages. Let's commit the change. Git and dot git commit -m page type checking. Right, everything's still working, right? Still compare successfully, right? Let's ending the one for the widgets. We're almost done there, so it's really fast. And we'll have the widget, the model, the client.ts. Now I have a export class widget. Widget going to have ID. The ID will be string. And what else? What else we're gonna have? Let's check in the service. I believe we're gonna have a name and something else, right? You're gonna have a widget type. Right, we're gonna have a widget type. Widget type. It's going to be a string. And we have the page ID. Page ID is going to be a string. And we may have size text. And if that's a heading type, we may have the page, the width and URL if that's image or video, YouTube widget. So we're gonna have those things optional. It may have a text, but it may not. So we're gonna have this one to be a string. And it may have a size. Also, it's optional. It's going maybe becomes it is if that exists, it's going to be a number. And it may have the width, and the width is also optional. It's going to be a string. And also we have a URL. It's also optional. It's going to be a string, right? Those things are not required. It depends on the widget type. So we're going to make them optional. But the page ID, widgets type, and the ID, those three are definitely required, like for widget type stuff. And let's end in the type checking for the component. We're going to start from the widget list. Here, going to be a widget, list of widgets. And here we are creating a lot of type checking. This one is checking. This one is a string. We're creating variable. This one is going to be a array of string, right? Like we're splitting it as string. I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's go to the widget chooser function here. Right. Let's see. Let's say it's a UID, WID, PID, which is doesn't request any change. Create a type. A type is a string here, so this function takes a string as an input. Yeah, this is going to be a widget. I haven't imported widget. Yeah, I'm gonna click import it. Just help me to type this down. I could do it by myself, but just this is gonna help me do the same thing. Alright, this one is not working because we are the property ID is missing. Right, ID should be optional. Well, as we say, sometimes when we create the object, we don't want to create ID because we're gonna generate the ID in the future, like in the data service. So we're gonna make the ID optional. Constant widget chooser. Why do I have the widget ID? What? Where does this come from? Oh, this widget ID is getting from the. Oh, I remember that. Like it helps us to navigate to the widget edit page because we need the ID to go to the specific page. So this widget ID is going to be a string here. Right. If you are forgetting what this is about, just try to review the video we recorded last week on the Friday afternoon. Right. It's talking about like when we're trying to route to the next page, we're gonna need the widget ID here. So that's why we have this widget ID created here. Right. It's not creating a new one. It's just this is getting the new widget ID from the list. It's not creating a new one. So let's go to the widget edit. In the widget edit, let's see what do we have here. We have a widget. This shouldn't be anything. It should be a type of widget. That's it. And let's take a look of the widget heading. Widget heading. This one should be a widget type, right? And that's it. I guess we're gonna do the same thing for the image and the YouTube. Just changing that one thing. Should be a widget. This is widget image file. Yeah. And the widget YouTube file. Widget. Save those files. Make sure everything is saved. And the compile section. Oh, get an error here. This is widget YouTube line 15. Maybe I didn't import it. Widget, import it, please. Yeah, compile successfully. And it saves the page is still working. I should be able to go to the page, and you should be able to create a new page. 111. Go here, create a new widget. I want to create a heading widget with a name. Hello text. Hello. The size is 1. Great. Yeah, it works. Everything is still working, and we're just adding some type checking here. And let's also adding them to any type checking for data service. All right. We also have a lot of functions in our services folder, and we also want to check in the function types here. Make sure everything is working. Especially for the functions here, like this. This one takes a user. A user should be a type user, right? We're gonna import a user here. And the user is the push user. A user is not assigned to parameter of type ID. What? Or maybe I need to here in the array here users. I need to say this is going to be a array of user array, right? Then it knows that this array only allows you to store users inside it, and now it's not complaining anything. And string, this is a string, and string. This user going to be type user. We're adding some type checking here. And for the website. So this is going to be a array of website. So we can add in a type array of website here. And keep going here. This is going to take a website, and this takes a string. This is like a really good thing coming from TypeScript. Allows us to check in the type, make sure like we not getting some really easy making issues. Sometimes when you're working in a team, like your teammates don't really understand what your function is doing and try doing it in a really weird way, and this is going to give them an error, telling them you cannot call these functions without giving the correct type, right? See here we are getting an error. This is not string. This should be a website, and this is going to be a string. It should be a lowercase. But it doesn't really matter in lowercase or bigger capital case for the string. Right, and then we're gonna have the one for the page. Have the page. Sorry. And this is a text type page. And keep going. Actually, maybe this. What should adding a string type checking for this thing? Guess I cannot. Right, doesn't really matter. So I have this one. It's going to be a string. This one going to be a string. Keep going. This one going to be a page. and this one going to be a string. Right. And last thing for the widget. This is going to be a list of widgets. And here, this widget going to be a type widget. Every time when you, most time when you're working with JavaScript, you're gonna check in the type by yourself somehow. And by using the TypeScript, it allows you just using the colon and with type. And without TypeScript, there's still some other ways to do so. Later, when we start learning the other framework like React, we're gonna still doing a type checking. It's really good habit checking our type. Make sure others not break it or you not break it in the future. When the project getting bigger and bigger, it's always gonna forget what this function is really doing. So yeah, right now we are checking type area, and your function, your page is still working, and everything should still working, right? Shouldn't be anything wrong here. Bob, yeah, still working. And that's it for the final part for the assignment 2. And make sure the types are correct. All right. We're gonna commit our changes. Git and dot git commit. Type checking. And let's do a git push. Right. So that's it for assignment 2. And in this week, rest of this week, we're not gonna cover anything new, and your job is to try to finish assignment 2. It's due on next Tuesday, I guess, November 12th, next Monday. Yeah, next Monday. So you're gonna have 1 week to finish assignment 2, and if you,
I think there is no class next Monday.
no class next Monday, but it's still we want you to finish this assignment by the end of that day.
Okay.
By the end of the next Monday. And then on next Tuesday, we're going to start talking about the server side. We're going to move our data to a server and hosting a server to connect it with our client. We're going to talk about start talking about next week. So please try to finish your assignment by next Monday. All right, its due date is next Monday, the end of the day. And if you already finish your assignment, please spend some time on your own project. Think about what you're going to do on that project, and think about to start designing it. Right, so maybe I can introduce you some designing tools, some wireframing tools tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Help you to think about we're gonna use those tools. Think about how design a page, what function are gonna have a page, what buttons are gonna have a page. Right, we're gonna talk about that maybe tomorrow. We're gonna stop the recording here.